That is ferocious. What a set of tennis that was. Alexandra Eala just re-engaging hour.
The tennis world was waiting for a statement, not from the reigning stars, not from a Grand Slam champion, but from a 21-year-old Filipina who was quickly becoming one of the most exciting stories in tennis. Eala had already turned heads with a dominant victory over Donna Vekic and a fortunate walkover that propelled her deeper into the tournament. But now, standing across the net, was the challenge everyone believed would end her dream run: Elena Rybakina. The world number 2, the 2022 Wimbledon champion, one of the most dangerous players on grass. Just a few weeks earlier in Rome, Rybakina had defeated Eala and reminded everyone why she belonged among tennis royalty. Her explosive serve, crushing ground strokes, and relentless aggression had proven too much for the young Filipina. This time, the expectation was simple: Rybakina would win. Rybakina would dominate. Rybakina would remind the rising star that she still had a long way to go before joining the sport's elite. But what happened in Berlin shocked the entire tennis world, because this wasn't a coronation for a Wimbledon champion. It was the arrival of a future star. And by the time the final point was played, fans inside the stadium and millions watching around the world were left asking the same question: how did Eala dismantle one of the best grass-court players on the planet? And how did she turn a match that was supposed to be a lesson into a masterpiece? Berlin, Germany, June 17, 2026. The historic Rot-Weiss Tennis Club was buzzing with anticipation. More than 25,000 passionate fans packed the iconic Steffi Graf Stadium. Philippine flags waved proudly throughout the stands. Chants of Laban echoed across the pristine grass courts. At the center of it all stood Eala, just 21 years old. Just months removed from being considered an exciting prospect, and now preparing for the biggest test of her grass court season. Across the net stood Elena Rybakina, the world number 2, a Wimbledon champion, a player whose game seemed built specifically for grass. Her serve had been clocked at over 127 miles per hour. Her flat ground strokes skidded through the court with frightening speed. On this surface, very few players could match her firepower. And she had already beaten Eala before. Their meeting in Rome had ended in a straight-sets victory for the Kazakh star. While Eala showed flashes of brilliance, Rybakina controlled the biggest moments and never allowed the upset to happen. Everything pointed toward another victory for the Wimbledon champion, but Eala arrived in Berlin with momentum. Just days earlier, she had captured the Birmingham title in a grueling 3-set battle against Nicola Bartenkova. The victory not only earned her a trophy, but also snapped a frustrating losing streak against Czech opponents. More importantly, it proved something: she could win on grass, and she could beat quality players under pressure. A deep run in Berlin would strengthen her position ahead of Wimbledon and potentially secure an even more favorable seeding. The opportunity was enormous. The challenge was even bigger. Yet from the very first point, something felt different. The opening serve exploded off Eala's racket. A left-handed rocket down the tee, 113 miles per hour. Ace Rybakina didn't even move. The crowd erupted. And in that moment, the message was clear. This was not the same Eala who had lost in Rome. This version was faster, stronger, more confident, and ready to fight. From the opening games, Eala took control. Her trademark left-handed angles dragged Rybakina out of position. Her aggressive shot-making neutralized the Kazakh's power. Time and again, the Wimbledon champion found herself hitting from uncomfortable positions, something rarely seen on grass. Suddenly, Rybakina looked unsettled. Her timing wasn't there. Her movement seemed hesitant. The player who usually dictated every rally was being forced to react. Meanwhile, Eala was playing fearless tennis. Every serve carried conviction. Every forehand found its target. Every point seemed to build her confidence even more. Then came the breakthrough. Eala broke Rybakina's serve. The stadium exploded. No one had expected the underdog to strike first. Yet there she was, standing toe-to-toe with one of the best players in the world and refusing to back down. Rybakina tried everything. She changed pace. She attacked the net. She searched desperately for answers. But Eala had already entered another zone, and there was no stopping her. Just 34 minutes later, the scoreboard revealed a stunning sight. Eala 6, Rybakina 2. The Wimbledon champion had been completely outplayed. The crowd could hardly believe what they were seeing. The world number 2 was in trouble, and for the first time all afternoon the pressure had shifted. As Eala calmly walked back to her chair, her expression never changed. No celebration, no emotion, no signs of surprise, because in her mind the job wasn't finished. One set down, one set to go. And the tennis world was about to witness something even more remarkable. Then came the serve that would be talked about long after the match was over. Facing pressure at 15:30, Eala stepped to the baseline, knowing the next point could shift the momentum of the entire set. She had already fired a blistering 113-mile-per-hour serve earlier in the match, but what happened next was on an entirely different level. The ball toss rose perfectly into the Berlin sky. Eala loaded up and unleashed. The ball exploded off her racket with a sound that instantly turned heads around the stadium. It tore through the air like a missile, a white streak racing across the grass before Elena Rybakina could even react. The world number 2, a player known for handling some of the biggest serves in women's tennis, never moved. She simply watched as the ball clipped the line and disappeared past her. Ace. For a brief moment, the entire stadium fell silent. Then all eyes turned to the radar gun. The number flashed across the screen, 119 miles per hour. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. To understand just how remarkable that moment was, consider this. Eala's average first serve typically sits around 105 miles per hour. Her game has never been built around overwhelming power. Instead, she has earned her reputation through smart shot selection, creative left-handed angles, relentless court coverage, and exceptional tennis IQ. But this serve was something different. This was a statement. The commentators could hardly believe what they had witnessed. 119 miles per hour, that's not just fast for Eala, that's elite-level pace against anyone on tour. His partner quickly agreed. I've never seen her serve that big before. She may have just hit the fastest serve of her career on one of the biggest stages of her life. Meanwhile, Eala showed almost no reaction, no celebration, no dramatic fist pump. No acknowledgement of the history she had just created. She calmly walked back behind the baseline, bounced the ball, and prepared for the next point as if nothing extraordinary had happened. The crowd was still buzzing. The energy inside the stadium was electric, yet Eala remained completely locked in. Her next serve came in at 112 miles per hour. Rybakina managed to put the return back into play, but the point still belonged to Eala. 30-all. Crisis avoided. Momentum secured. Moments later, she held serve and leveled the set. But the impact of that 119-mile-per-hour rocket extended far beyond a single game. It planted doubt, not only in the mind of her opponent, but in the minds of everyone watching. Rybakina had spent years returning serves from some of the most powerful players in the sport. She had faced major champions, elite hitters, and athletes whose entire game revolved around raw power. Yet few expected Eala to produce a serve like that under pressure on grass against one of the world's best players. The match was still unfolding, but one thing had already become clear. The young Filipina was no longer just competing with the elite. She was forcing them to take notice. And when the dust finally settled, the statistics revealed just how extraordinary her performance had been. Eala finished the match with 22 winners compared to Rybakina's 14. She committed only 11 unforced errors while forcing the Wimbledon champion into 18 of her own. She captured an impressive 78% of her first serve points and faced only 2 break points throughout the entire match, saving both with fearless shot-making and clutch serving. The 119-mile-per-hour ace may have stolen the headlines, but it was only one piece of a much bigger story. Throughout the match, Eala's signature left-handed angles repeatedly disrupted Rybakina's rhythm. The same powerful ground strokes that had carried the Kazakh star to a Wimbledon title were neutralized, redirected, and turned against her. Time after time, Rybakina found herself pushed out of position, rushed into difficult shots, and forced into mistakes she rarely makes on grass. The opening set lasted just 34 minutes, and the scoreboard told a shocking story. 6-2 Eala. A result few experts could have predicted. The Wimbledon champion had been thoroughly outplayed. To her credit, Rybakina responded like a champion. She adjusted, she settled into her service games, she raised her level when the pressure intensified. The second set became more competitive, and eventually the match stretched into a deciding third set. But by then, the damage had already been done. Eala had announced herself on one of the biggest stages of the grass court season. She had gone toe-to-toe with a Wimbledon champion, She had delivered the fastest serve of her career. She had out-hit the world number 2, and she had proven that she belonged among the best players in the world. Although Rybakina ultimately escaped with a hard-fought 4-6, 6-3, 7-5 victory, the final score failed to capture what everyone inside the stadium had witnessed. This wasn't simply a match, it was a breakthrough. And when Rybakina was asked about Eala afterward, her response spoke volumes. She played incredible tennis today. I didn't expect that level from her. She's going to be a problem for a lot of players. Coming from a Wimbledon champion, there may have been no greater compliment, because on that day in Berlin, Eala didn't just earn respect, she earned belief, and the tennis world suddenly realized that her rise might only be beginning. When Elena Rybakina said Eala was going to be a problem, she wasn't offering a compliment. She was delivering a warning to the rest of the WTA Tour, because what the tennis world witnessed in Berlin wasn't a lucky performance or a one-time breakthrough. It was the latest sign that one of the sport's brightest young stars is getting closer and closer to her defining moment. And now, an even bigger challenge awaits: the race for Wimbledon seeding. Although Eala's run at the Berlin Open came to an end, her grass court season is far from over. In many ways, it's only beginning. The Wimbledon seeding cutoff arrives on June 22, and every point matters. Currently ranked number 33 in the world, Eala sits just one spot outside the coveted top 32 positions that guarantee a seeded place in the draw. Adding even more pressure, the 163 ranking points she earned from last year's Eastbourne final are set to expire on that same date. The math is simple. A strong result at the Bad Homburg Open could make all the difference, but Bad Homburg offers something even more valuable than ranking points: experience, opportunity, and a partnership few fans ever expected to see. For the first time in her career, Eala is set to team up in doubles with Venus Williams. Yes, that Venus Williams, a 7-time Grand Slam champion and one of the greatest grass-court players the sport has ever produced. For a young player preparing for Wimbledon, there may be no better mentor to learn from. The tournament runs from June 21 through June 27, perfectly positioned before the start of the year's most prestigious major. Every match, every practice session, and every conversation could provide lessons that help shape the next stage of Eala's career. And if Berlin proved anything, it's that she is learning fast. Following her battle with Rybakina, Eala remained focused on what comes next. "I'm excited for the challenge," she said. "I know what I need to do differently. I've learned so much from this match, and I'm going to take those lessons into the next tournament." That mindset may be her greatest strength, because while many players would focus on how close they came to pulling off a massive upset, Eala is focused on what she can become. And that's what makes her so dangerous. The legacy of Berlin won't be measured by the final score. It will be measured by what happened in front of the entire tennis world. A 21-year-old Filipina stepped onto the court against a Wimbledon champion and refused to be intimidated. She blasted a career-best 119-mile-per-hour serve. She hit more winners than the world number 2. She pushed one of the best grass-court players on the planet to the absolute limit. She proved that she belongs on tennis' biggest stages. The fans in Berlin knew they had witnessed something special. Philippine flags waved proudly until the very last point. The chants of Laban echoed throughout the stadium, and long after the match ended, the conversation remained the same. Eala has arrived. She may not have walked away with the victory, but she walked away with something equally important: respect, belief, and the attention of the entire tennis world. The journey continues. Wimbledon is just around the corner. The rankings race is heating up. And if her performance in Berlin was any indication, Eala's biggest moments may still be ahead of her. Because future champions aren't always revealed by their victories. Sometimes they're revealed by the matches they refuse to lose in spirit. And in Berlin, Eala showed exactly why so many people believe her breakthrough is only a matter of time. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more women's tennis coverage, match analysis, and the moments that shape the future of the game. And now, we want to hear from you. After pushing Elena Rybakina to the brink and delivering the performance of her grass court season, do you think Eala will secure a Wimbledon seed? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, Laban Lang.